Hey, everybody. Welcome. Hey, it is a new day of God's grace and His mercy. And here we are to start a new challenge, the Love Factor Challenge, everyone. Are you ready? Are you ready? Oh, so for some of those that do not know me, I am Jazzy Crazy Faith Stokes, and I am here for another challenge. I run challenges every month, once a month, just to get people um, motivated to do some changes in their life. I am a life coach, I'm a motivational speaker, and I am an entrepreneur. I am the CEO of Vacation Nanny app. I'm also the CEO of Money Chaser for You, Judgment Recovery, and I have a bachelor's in criminal justice and minor in human behavior. So, as a life coach, I always like to try to help people just get into a daily place of just feeling invigorated and loved and just in a new mindset to be able to just move forward in life and not worry about any of your past hiccups. So, my desire was to start this challenge and to do something for our upcoming month or day of love. I think that love should be something that we do every day. It should not just be to one specific day or month. I think that a lot of times people just don't seem to love on themselves enough. And so that's the reason why God gave me this idea of the Love Factor Challenge. This is just teaching you, if you don't already know, some people say, yeah, well, I know about love. I know how to love myself. Well, just giving you a little bit more in-depth view of love. And sometimes what we have to do in order to attain love, and sometimes what we have to do to have relationship love, and sometimes what we have to do just to have self love. It's just that time and place that we just have to go into just learning from experience. All right. Isn't that what it's all about? Sometimes we just learn from simple experiences. So, I thank you guys so much for joining me today. I thank you so much for wanting to be a part of this great challenge. I am so ecstatic in doing the challenges. I prepare so much for these challenges. And so I just want you to know that I try to love on you as much as I can by doing these challenges. So without further ado, we are going to, get up my nifty screen that I always love to do, which is basically my PowerPoint. My PowerPoints are my help, and I like to utilize them whenever I possibly can. So, we are going to start from the beginning with welcome to the Love Factor Challenge. And today's topic is going to basically be what is love? And some of you might say, well, what is love? I want you guys to know that there are so many different definitions of love, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing is that we think we know what love is. So I've kind of, done my own interpretation of what love is. But of course, like I always do, I always like to start off by defining what love is. You know me, I was taught this by my mother is to, always define what something is. If someone does not understand it, the best thing to do is to define what it is, and help them to understand it and ways to go about understanding what it is that you're trying to relate to them. So that's what the first session is going to be about. It's going to be about what is love, defining what is love, committing to yourself or commit to yourself, and stop expecting, start giving. And I found this little quote there over to the side that I really, really, really loved over there, which was basically is I love you. I love you for all that you are, all that you have been, and all you're yet to be. So this is this place of where you kind of just, does that resonate with anyone? Where it says, I love you for all that you are, all that you have been, and all that you're yet to be. So that means that exactly where you are, where you have come from, and what you're expecting of yourself. So that's the reason why I started here is we're going to start off with define what love is. And when you define what love is, you're going into this place of saying love. What is the definition of love to some people? Love is a strong affection for another arising out of kinship or personal ties. So when you think about that definition in itself, is a strong affection, and it says it's arising out of kinship or personal ties. Well, some people don't know what kinship is, and kinship is, what are your bloodlines? Where do you come from? Who is in your family? That first connection with your family unit is teaching you how to love, how to understand what love is, by understanding that you are part of something that's bigger than you. You didn't ask to come into this world. You didn't ask for this experience. You didn't want to just say, that you're here just because happenstance. No, it was the love that came a part of your parents being together that manifested you. And that's what I want you to understand, is that your bloodline is so important to who you innately are. And if you don't understand what your bloodline means, sometimes, as we know, you can have a bloodline that is, parents being from two different cultures coming together, which is a beautiful thing. And that's what I feel like my bloodline is, because it's my parents who were from two different cultures coming together to make me, which I think is beautiful, because it shows that love actually crosses over in cultural differences, that love brings people together, because it doesn't matter who they were, where they came from. It's where they are now. And so sometimes you got to cross over, into some different places when it comes to love. And you have to be okay with crossing over into those different places. And some people will say, well, blood is thicker than water. Those are some blurred areas. I don't know if I can cross over. I think I'm going to stick with what I know. And sometimes sticking to what you know is only going to make you just have a one-sided perception of life. You're not going to have a full place in how you understand things or others around you, because you just have that one-sided view. So I love Raquel Cepeda. Raquel Cepeda quoted it so well. She says, "I have never bought into the idea that blood is thicker than water. Love and respect are meant to be earned from our children, our spouses, our families, and our friends." Is that not awesome? That's what it's all about. It's about earning people's respect, whether if it's from your family, whether if it's from your children, whether if it's from your friends. It's about earning and learning. So it's like you basically are earning something, and you're learning something from each and every person that you come in contact with. So that's why I want to talk about that personal contact. And that's why I have that. Are all your personal ties healthy? Ha, ha, ha. Because sometimes love can be abusive, and love can be a place of where we say that we know what love is, but all we have received from those personal ties are what we thought was real love, but it was more of an abusive love that we've learned to glean from. So we don't even know what healthy love is. So we've continued to come into this place of where we then become abusers of love. And because we weren't taught a healthy way of how to love, we think that our type of love is the right type of love. And that's why it's so important to have those crossovers of cultures and bloodlines, because what you may have learned may not be something that is good for you to be able to love on other people. And that's maybe why you're in that place of searching for quote unquote real love, right? So when you define what love is, you have to learn to commit to yourself. When you decide that maybe something about you isn't exactly where you want it to be in a loving way, you have to commit to yourself to work on you. That's right. We all have to commit to ourselves to work on our place of what love is. Because if you don't continue to work on you and in your place, like I said, you're going to continue to go down that one-sided perception of what love is, and you're going to kind of figure it out that it's just not working for you, is it? So this is the reason why it's so important to work on yourself, because when you work on yourself, you're committing to yourself that you are going to achieve some personal goals and challenges. And when you achieve those personal goals and challenges, you then realize that as you just tweak a few things that you were taught or that you've learned along the way, you start realizing that you start saving yourself from some heartache. You start saving yourself from some ideas that you once thought that were okay. And this comes through maturity. It's maturing from one level to the next and understanding that you deserve this, that you don't have to always go off of what you were taught from your foundation, from your parents or from your grandparents or from your siblings, that you can actually change these things so that you can save yourself from unwarranted pain later in life by first working on who you are today. If you work on yourself today, you're going to learn the biggest thing, which is to love on you. You have to love on you exactly where you are. You can't say that you don't love yourself because you're not happy with where you are currently. You have to start exactly where you are right now to be able to work on you. You know what you don't like, you know what hasn't worked. So now let's move forward and see what can work. By working on those places in your life, you begin to build a friendship with yourself. And sometimes we want other people to build that friendship with us. But if you don't like who you are, how can you expect for your friendships to be likable? How can you expect for your friendships to be in a place where you desire it to be if you haven't first loved to love on you? So that's why I have that quote there. Friendship is when someone knows all about you, but likes you anyway. And that's what you have to do. You have to learn to become a friend with yourself. You have to love on yourself and like yourself and know everything about you and be okay with it. Everything about you, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, has made you who you are today. And those ideas are what's going to continue to perpetuate things either becoming success stories in your life or becoming failures. So you have to decide what it is that you desire out of this life, what it is that you want. And so that's where we get into the stop expecting, start giving mode. You have to stop expecting things to happen. Stop just waiting for something to happen, for something to change. You got to start giving enough to yourself by telling yourself that you deserve to maybe change the way that you currently think. Change your mindset. We started off learning that the ABCs were just the ABCs. But then we learned that if you put a couple of those letters together, they become words, right? So they're still ABCs, but now the ABCs haven't evolved into something else. Those words then evolve into sentences. And when you give yourself room to grow, you begin to change the dialogue that is happening currently in your life. You begin to allow your sentences to actually evolve just like your ABCs evolved. Your ABCs are who you are. They are the beginning. They are the beginning to what you've learned and how you've expected your life to be. Your ABCs are just that. They're the start to something wonderful. But learning never stops. It continues to manifest itself as long as you are willing to learn. You have to get into this place of where you're saying, there is nothing else that I want more than to be able to learn how to love on myself in this place that I am in. And that I'm not going to allow myself to stay stagnant and remain in this place of just obscurity. You deserve to be in a place that love begins to manifest changes in you. People start seeing differences in you. People start seeing those differences because you know why? When you stop expecting people to do things for you and you start giving to yourself, certain things change. Whether it's a fragrance, you start smelling different, or there's just a new glimmer in your eyes because you start telling yourself that you are worth more than what you used to be. You start realizing that all these things that you once were are not who you are, because you start motivating yourself in a place to continue to grow by giving yourself more things. You give yourself more ideas to continue to look past your current situations. And by giving yourself permission to move forward, you're giving yourself a place of saying that, you know what? I don't want to stay in this place anymore. This has not worked for me right now. And so I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to give myself permission to do that. I'm willing to give myself permission to continue this place in my life of growing outside of my comfort zone. That's right. You have to grow outside of your comfort zone, because when you're growing outside of your comfort zone, you actually are allowing more things to come into material assets, material friendships, material family members being able to accept you where you are, instead of saying, oh, remember when she was that person or he was that person. They can actually accept you because you've grown into your own. And I want you to do that. I want you to do that. And this is the reason why it was so important for me to come out of this place and grow into where I am now. Because every single time that you're growing, you are manifesting new opportunities. And when you manifest those new opportunities, you are allowing yourself to think outside of the box, and you're allowing more opportunities to come to you. And when you're allowing those opportunities to come to you, then you are allowing people to actually want to be in your presence, because that presence is what is going to catapult other people to start making changes within themselves as well. We glean off of each other. It's just like, the hottest car out. You see everyone getting Teslas, right? If you didn't see any Teslas on the street and you didn't see them advertise Tesla, you wouldn't want it, right? But when you see someone else have it, and you see how it looks on the street, and you see how that person looks in it, you say, you know what? That looks kind of cool. I think I'm going to have to look into that. And that's why people continue to have a purchasing power to be able to do things that others want to do, is because they continue to think outside of the box. They want to be on the next cutting edge of ideas, of creativity, of anything. And that's where it all starts at, is love. If you're loving who you are and where you are and the growth of what potential you have to be, then you are putting yourself in a place of actually growing outside of your realm. And it's allowing someone else's realm to come into your realm. And then your realm begins to even grow and manifest even at larger strides than you had ever anticipated. And love is such an easy word to say. But if you don't learn to love yourself and love who you are and where you have the potential of going, then it's not going to work for you, because you're going to always feel like you're one step either behind someone else, or you're wondering why someone else has what you have the potential of attaining as well. And this is the reason why I wanted to come to this place, because I wanted you to understand that love is just four little letters. Love. Love. And those four letters are so powerful when you put it together. Those four letters continue to have so much emotion attached to them, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And you can't share all of your problems and all of your love with everyone, because some people will not do right with your love. Some people will actually try to complain about your level of love. Your level of love is not someone else's level of love. So you have to understand that you have to maintain a privacy when it comes to your love. You can't allow everyone in to your ability to love. You can only correct what is wrong with your love. You can't correct what's wrong with someone else's love. So love teaches you how to understand and avoid misunderstandings. Because if you avoid those misunderstandings, you're helping yourself to realize that you're encouraging yourself to achieve a dream. And that dream is respecting those relationships and those friendships with other people. And by respecting and understanding that, you realize that there's a definite line of how to love each and every person in your life. And when you're learning how to love those people in your life, you're going to be able to understand why each person is in your life for that reason. Everyone is not in your life for forever. And that's what most people want to believe that love is. Love is forever. I never have to worry about it because I love them. But love is not a forever for everyone. Every situation is different. Some people are in your life for just a certain season, and you have to learn to love them for exactly where they are in that season of your life. And so I wanted to start off this challenge by challenging you to write something today about love. What is it about you that you love? What is it about you that you don't love? What is something that you want to change to help you manifest more love? And when you do these things, you'll start realizing that as you start seeing these things out in front of you, that there are some things that you can still work on. And there's nothing wrong with working on you. There's nothing wrong with it. There are people that work on themselves every single day. And if you love yourself, you should be working on yourself every single day. I work on myself every single day to learn how to just love on myself a little bit more than the day before, how to understand what it actually is that I love. Because some people say they love things and they really don't. They don't like it at all. They've learned to love what others' interpretation of what love is. So you have to come to a place where you learn enough about yourself that you can say, yeah, I really do love that, or no, I don't. It's okay. You can add and delete things to your life when you deem them necessary. You don't have to guilt trip yourself into believing that you have to stay someplace because you thought you loved it. You don't. You need to get into a place of where you need to learn to purge things out of your life, delete things out of your life. Because once you start purging and deleting, you start realizing that as you are blossoming into this new place, that you start really living life. And that's what I want. I want you, as they say, to live your best life. Live your best authentic self. Learn to smile, learn to love on you exactly where you are. There's nothing else in life right now that matters more than you. If you are not at your most healthiest state, then you are not going to be any good for anyone else. Any good for anyone else. So you have to first start with you. Put that mirror up, look at you, and get busy. Get busy. So I don't want to waste any more of your time. I want to see who really has something to say about today. Today was going to be short and sweet because I want people to know that as we begin this week and we begin this challenge, I want you to really delve into your thought processes and how you see yourself. And I want you to know what love truly is. And tomorrow, we are going to delve into the 5 types of love. That's right. Because today we just learned what love is. And that's the Merriam-Webster's dictionary of what love is. But we want to talk about what are the types of love as well. Because sometimes we know what we think we know of love, but we have no idea that there are different types of love. And that's what I want you guys to know, is that as we get through this week, you're going to start understanding that when you actually dissect and pull apart that word love, that there is so much more enthralled in that word than what you actually have learned about it. I mean, no one ever really taught me love. No one ever taught me it. I just, you learn it from what you're seeing around you. It's not someone says, you know what? Oh, I love you. Okay, yeah, I love you, but what is love to them when they say they love you? Are they loving you for something you've done for them? Or are they loving you because they just like you? Or are they loving you because you were just there in that moment and you have satisfied some feeling and that time and that space? So, this is the reason why we're here at the Love Factor Challenge. Because once you start factoring in that word love, you need to really understand the reasoning why love is important. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow.